Well, we're back for another episode of Secret Invasion. We are now on to episode 4. And at the end of every episode, I'm just wondering, what is this leading to? Is this leading to a movie based on the slate that we have at the moment? Doesn't seem likely. So I'm just kind of pondering the question, what the fuck is this show supposed to be? I really don't know what they're going for with this show. There's no efficiency whatsoever. It's just, now we're going to meander on for 6 episodes and not really achieve anything. When you know, you think about the idea of the Secret Invasion storyline, it's like you should be able to do this in about 4 hours. You know, if you were to do it within movies, you know, like Infinity War and then Endgame, have a part 1, you could do it within that time span. Whereas here, it's just like, nah, we're just going to waste a bit of time. Waste a bit of time until we all die a horrible death. That's what it seems like with this show. But I suppose we'll just get into it. We'll probably be here not very long, because I ain't got much to say about this. Again, there's very little to say about it. Especially this episode. There's just like, I don't really know what you're doing anymore. I don't know what you're going for. So the previous episode, that was great, wasn't it? We found out that Nick Fury wasn't in the position he was because of himself, because of his pure talent. He was there because the Skrulls did it. Because Nick Fury has been assassinated in this show. So really, anything they do at this point, it's like, who gives a fuck? You've already ruined Nick Fury. He's out the window, out the door. There's not many characters left that have not been assassinated. Spider-Man, that's like the only character at the moment that hasn't been completely ruined. Other than that, there's nobody. There's nobody that I can think of. So, you know, again, how would you even do, if you were to do movies based on Secret Invasion, I don't even know, you know, why would you bother at this point? There's no characters left. There's no Iron Man, there's no Cap, there's none of these characters anymore. We are left with the shit ones. And the shit ones have somehow managed to get also ruined. So that's what we've done in the previous episode. Was just Nick Fury didn't get to where he was because of himself. It was because of the Skrulls. And then they just went on this... we wasted the entire episode of about 40 minutes on, oh, Gravik has got to find out who the traitor is. So he went to all this trouble. We're going to pretend that we're going to blow a plane out of the sky to figure out who the traitor is when it's already obvious who the traitor is. But then again, Gravik is very dim. Because yet again, we have another idiotic villain. Just an outright idiot. The only reason they are now, right, we want to blow the Earth to smithereens with nuclear warfare, even though that doesn't make any fucking sense, because, you know, the Earth is already perfect. You don't need to change it. You don't need to go, nah, get rid of all those trees. You know, first of all, that's just, this plan doesn't make any sense. And the reason he's doing this plan doesn't make any sense, or it's just a bit hollow. It's, oh, Nick Fury broke a promise, so we're going to wipe out the human race. Because Nick Fury broke a promise. That's the reasoning of the villain. Nick Fury broke a promise, so nuclear warfare. And he seems to think he's justified in that because someone broke a promise. Again, it's like me or you, you know, someone breaks a promise with us and we go, right, I'm going to go and do a massacre. That's what that's like. It's insanity. So that's what we had in the previous episode. This episode, we open up with Daenerys, who was shot at the end of the previous episode. Turns out she's not dead, though. Great. You know, I didn't really give a shit anyway if you were or not. So it you know, it goes back to before she left. She somehow had enough time to go in and get herself some powers. As we went over in the previous episodes, Gravik is working on something to have super super Skrulls, as he put it. It's quite cringe. So she's just went in there. She's the first person to do it. I'm like, so did you know that was going to work or not? No, I don't know at all. But she had enough time to do this. She had enough time to hop in this machine and get herself some powers. And basically the powers, it's something to do with Groot. We get a glimpse of it in this episode, but that's what it is. Basically, their hands extend into branches. You know, out of all the powers you could have, you went with, oh, I'm a tree. That's what you went with. Out of all the powers, and basically they're immune to bullets. Or, like, if you shoot them, their skin just comes back. So they essentially can't be killed. I guess so. So she had time to do this. So it shows us. So that's what it does. It heals the bullet wound. I don't know how she was knocked out anyway, because we see Gravik get shot later on. He just stands still. So I don't know what knocked her out exactly, but she had enough time to get herself some powers. She's alive. Wow, that was phew. You know, I didn't want to see that character die. So we get more of our AI intro. And then we have Nick Fury. This is in Paris in 2012, just after, you know, the events of the Avengers. And he's meeting up with his wife. She's just telling him stuff about, you know, I read this in the newspaper, you know, about what went on in New York. I had a feeling it was someone, you know, great behind it. Someone who went out of his way to protect the weak. Yet in this show, Nick Fury thinks humans are the biggest pieces of shit about. So, whatever. So, we basically have Fury's wife telling us who Fury is. And I'm just like, yeah, that would have been good to see in this show. Not assassinated. So, that's basically what that is. There's not much point dwelling on this. You know, she talks about, oh, there was this poem in this book that I'm reading, and it's about, you know, find your beloved on the beloved earth, or something like that. So we come back to those two later. We've got his wife meeting up with Rhodey. So Rhodey is in fact a Skrull. I don't know, are we supposed to assume that that this Skrull assumed Rhodey's life when he had that meeting all those years ago? I don't know. I don't know if they're going to explain when the fuck Rhodey became a Skrull and where the real Rhodey is. I'm already starting to wonder. This is going to raise a lot of questions. I think if we go back, depending on when they say that Rhodey is actually a Skrull, I don't think that's going to line up with much. We're going to have to look at the decisions that he made and what decisions kind of goes against what this entire thing is. And then again, it also raises the question, so, but their plan wasn't always to take over Earth. So the idea that it's a Skrull has been Rhodey all along doesn't really make a lot of sense, because it's only been something of recent where they've begin taking over, you know, like heads of the UN or whatever the shit is. So I don't know when they're gonna say, oh, he became a Skrull here. The only thing I can really think of is in Civil War, where he fell out of the sky. I can assume that, I guess. I don't know, and I don't think we're gonna get the answers on it. So Rhodey, who's in fact a Skrull, meets up with Fury's wife, and he's like, I want you to kill him. I want you to kill Fury. Now again, whenever this happens in anything, I'm like, why are you asking her to do it? She's been married to him for years. She's clearly not going to do it. She's clearly not going to go through with it. Maybe don't ask the person that is most likely not going to do it. Just do it yourself. Or get someone that will do it. But instead it's, we've got to get the person that's not going to go through with it. Because that just makes sense, you see. So that's what he wants her to do. He wants her to kill Fury. I mean, at this point, you might as well, because it's not Fury anymore. So we find out that Fury decided to do something smart for once. You know, I don't know why all of a sudden he's come back to, I'm going to make a smart decision, because we haven't seen that through the rest of this season so far. So it turns out Nick Fury's listening to him. He put a bug on her phone. Good idea. Good idea for once, Nick Fury. Even though you should be doing things like that all the time. So he's listening over this, and his wife is basically saying, he's broken. You know, she's trying to convince Rhodey or Skrull. I don't know what to call him anymore. She's trying to convince him to not kill Fury. I don't even know why they're worried about Fury. Like, a couple episodes ago, they were like, oh, what have we got to worry about Fury for? Now they're like, oh, we got to kill him now. Yeah, but you said he's nothing to worry about. You said he's broken and old and he can't walk right no more. And now you're like, no, we've got to kill him. Yeah, but you weren't worried about him. So that's what's happening. She's saying stuff like, Nick's broken. He's broken ever since the blip. No, he's not. He's not. That wouldn't happen. She's like, the old Fury, the one with power, the one with ability, who was indispensable to us, is gone. This new one, he'll be dead from exhaustion and defeat soon enough. I'm pretty sure that's what the writers believe. We don't need to kill him. So that's essentially what we get there. So she's got to rack the idea around in her brain what she's going to do. We go to Gravik, and their current plan is that they're gonna try and kill the US president and blame it on Russia. They're still doing that. They still seem to think there wouldn't be any investigation whatsoever. They seem to think, oh no, you just kill the president. They go, oh, it's the Russians. There's no second thought. There's no doubts about it. So that's what their plan is. We don't really see much of them at this episode. We then get a boring scene with Talos and his daughter on a bench. Daenerys is talking about taking out King's Landing. So, no, she's going on about, like, she asks him, what is your plan to find us a home? Which, as we've went over, you should have already done that. You've got the technology to do it. But we had to rewrite history and act as if, oh, no, they just couldn't find a planet, guys, because everybody hated them. They couldn't find a planet that welcomed them. Out of all the fucking planets we've seen throughout the MCU, whether it's Guardians of the Galaxy movies, there is so many planets. But you're just like, nah, they don't like us. That's your justification. Oh, we couldn't find a new planet because nobody likes us. Why didn't you find a planet with no one on it? You went out with Captain Marvel searching the stars. You just didn't find one. So they're still doing that. They're still trying to act as if it makes sense. When it's this advanced, superior race to humans. They have more technology, better technology. And they're still like, nah, everybody hates us. They just hate us. Why though? Why is it exactly... You know, I would like an explanation on this. What is it exactly? What is the reason people don't like Skrulls? Or all these other alien civilizations? What is it they have against you? Don't know. I just don't know. They don't seem to be fleshing it out. I want to know why people don't like them. You know, unless you're going to say, oh, well, the Kree, that's like one sector of the fucking universe. So that's still not making sense, but they're still fucking acting as if it does. So then he goes over what his plan's going to be. He's like, we take down Gravik. Then once we've done that, we let the president know it was us. And then eventually they throw us a bone. And they'll ask for amnesty so they can continue to live on the planet. So that's his plan, rather than just going and finding a planet. You're just like, fuck off. So she's like, don't you want to live in your own skin? I'm pretty sure is that not included in what he's saying? So she's going on about. Well, Talos says we're a people without a planet because I guess we're dumb. That's the only reason, isn't it? So that's basically what that is. She storms off and she's like, "Nah, ain't doing that, man. We ain't doing that. I want to live in my own skin." I don't know why she thought that wasn't included. So we then get, for once, a good scene. They accidentally wrote a good scene, which, again, it's another really, it's a good scene on its own, in isolation. It's just surrounded by utter bollocks, and it's really kind of misplaced, because it's like we've still got this secret invasion to do. But I will compliment it anyway, because it's a good scene. It's a pretty good scene. They made an accident, guys. They wrote a good scene. Well done. More of this, please. Not just the odd scene. I'd like to see, something more of this quality. So Nick Fury, because he now knows, his wife's, she's going to kill me, or at least he's assuming that that's going to be the case. He goes through, all these reckless mistakes I've made. Out of all of them, you were the biggest one. I rack it around my brain so much, wondering if I had the opportunity to do it all again, what would I change? Would I change anything? So we then find out how how she sort of came into the identity she assumed. He asks her about, tell me the story again. Tell me the story of how, how you assumed this not personality, assumed this identity. And she tells the story of Dr. Priscilla, which is what her name is. She was dying. She was going to die of something to do with her heart. Eventually I came out and asked, because she didn't want to have her parents watching her suffer, and grieve over her. So that's what made her make the decision to let this Skrull assume her identity based on 3 promises. One of them being that, because she told her about, Nick Fury, that she was in love and all that sort of shit. And like the 3 promises were that I buried her at sea, and that I continued to be a daughter for her parents, which she did do, and never hurt Nick Fury, which she's of course broken. So they put their guns on the table and all that. They just kind of, I guess they're going for, right, with, all our cards are out. Until it cuts away, where they recite the poem from earlier on. What you wanted in this life, even so. And she's like, to find my beloved and live on the beloved earth, or something like that. And then they shoot, and then it comes back, and it turns out, they didn't shoot each other. So he's like, how are you going to be, the Skrulls are going to come after you now for not going through with this, even though the Skrulls should have got someone else to do it, because that would make more sense. That would actually get the job done. But no, the Skrulls are fucking morons. So she asks him, would you have loved me if I'd never changed, if I was my true self? He walks out and says, I guess we'll never know. So they've just decided to part ways. So you had a good scene there. It's kind of misplaced, because I'm still like, right, so we've got 2 episodes to go. We've got 2 episodes to go. I don't know where this show's going. But you accidentally wrote a good scene. Well done. You get a star for that. You get I'll give you half a star. Half a star. I'll give you a smiley sticker. So then we got a Skrull having a shower. I guess that's for people that are into aliens. And it's, I don't know if it's a girl Skrull, but that's apparently the one that has taken over Rhodey. Again, I still don't know when they're going to say, oh, he assumed Rhodey's personality or identity here. I don't think they're going to say. So Nick Fury has went to visit him. He's broken him. He's got this bourbon here. He's like, sit down and have a drink. I need to talk to you about the Skrulls that have invaded the U.S. government. I think I've found out. I've have it on good authority that it's someone that's close to the president. Before he says this, he wants Rhodey to drink this because it has a liquid. What do they call it? Let me see. I've just got a couple of lines. If I can fucking open the page. So yeah, it's a liquid location tracker. So that's why he's trying to get Rhodey to drink it. And it's like, it becomes apparent here that, you know, Rhodey realizes, oh shit, he knows I'm a Skrull. Yet he still drinks it. I don't really get that. I don't know why it's like he figured out who you are. Maybe don't drink the stuff that he's offering you. There's clearly, you know, if it's not poison, there's something in it. But he drinks it anyway. I'm like, I don't really know why you did that. That's a bit silly. It's like he knows you're a Skrull. He clearly wants to do something with you. So Rhodey decides to drink it after this conversation. Nick Fury's just like, I want my old job back. And then Rhodey goes on to blackmail him, as he has video evidence of when Gravik, posing as Nick Fury, shot Maria Hill. The character they gave a lot more depth to, died in an episode. So now I'm like, so now you're blackmail. You wanted him fucking dead. Why even bother blackmailing him? Just get someone to kill him. I don't know what, I don't really get now they went to, we will blackmail you. Yeah, but you wanted to kill him earlier. Would it not just be a lot quicker to kill him and it's out the way? I don't know why you've now went to blackmail. I don't know why exactly you went to that. I don't know why other countries don't have this video footage. I don't know why it's specifically Rhodey. But whatever, I guess. So they're blackmailing him, but Nick Fury got what he wanted. And that's where they mention the liquid location tracker. So now they know where he's going to go. And they're going off in a big blockade of cars with the president in them. And this is, of course, where Gravik enacts his plan. They're in the choppers. They're like, we're Russians. They're speaking in Russian accents. They don't think, but hold on a minute. There's a black guy here posing as a Russian. I don't know. You know, you would question that, wouldn't you? They've already pointed out in this show that, a black man walking around Russia. So even that doesn't really work, does it? So all this chaos ensues. Rhodey tells them the president is in this car. So they shoot down a rocket. The car rolls off the road with the president in it. He's still alive. He hasn't died yet. So Nick Fury and Talos, having followed them, goes to this. We just have a big action scene that I couldn't give a fuck about, really. It's like, again, it's just more shit getting in the way. And I'm just like, right, again, we've got 2 episodes. Got 2 episodes left. And if they're going to act as if, right, this has now set everything off in motion to where we want to get it. That the governments are going to throw nuclear weapons at each other. And we're going to take control of what? You're going to take control of Ash. That's all you're going to take control of. That's why your plan doesn't make any sense. So, a load of shooting ensues. There's choppers getting blown out the sky. It's just, boring action, really. Not much to say about it. So, Nick Fury and Talos turn up. They blow a chopper out the sky. They soon realise, Fury's here. So I thought you weren't worried about him. What are you worrying about him now for? Why didn't you just kill him earlier? I don't know, but we see Gravik use his powers, and it's just, oh, tree trunks come out my hands. The CGI is very bad. So that's what his powers are. Also, when he gets shot, again, it just heals. So there's all this shooting going down. They got to get to the president, so they get over there, and Talos starts banging on the... Because it's, of course, bulletproof windows. Should that really be an issue with Gravik? We've seen him in the first episode bang open a lock just with his hand. So should it really take as long as it does? So Talos is doing this. Then he gets shot because the military... One thing I'll point out, they just disappear. There's like a part in this where they just disappear from the scene. And they just let all this stuff happen. It's like, what are you doing? You've managed... The military have managed to let their enemy get at the side of them. And you're still just like, nah, we're going to keep shooting that way. And this guy also only thinks to shoot Talos, not the fucking military that are shooting at you. He gets to the side of it, and then he just goes back. He just went, nah, one shot on Talos. I'm not going to try and get rid of these military guys that are currently shooting at us, even though the position I'm in is really good. I'm just going to go quick shot to Talos, and then I'm going to go back the other way. Yeah, but you can kill them all here. You could even kill Nick Fury here. But instead you just go, nah, Talos. That's the only person you're going to... Fucking idiots. Absolute idiots. The military don't pick up on this at all. They're just like, nah. Fuck off. So Gravik is... Not Gravik. So Talos is... He's got a bullet in the chest. And he's sort of going between forms. There's one military guy, he's like, oh, it's an alien. And then Nick says, oh, he's with me. So they open up that. They finally get to it. Nick Fury gets the president to the car. And then he turns around. And Gravik has somehow walked in between the military, as we're about to see. Has walked in between the military. They've clearly seen him shapeshift. And he's got Talos here. And then he stabs Talos. Talos is dead. He's out of the show. You know, again, the funny thing about this show, every character that has died, I've not given a shit about. Whatsoever. Every death is just like, you know, there's not really anything dramatic about it. It's just like, oh, they killed that guy that was, like, really good. But nothing, it's just like, oh, right, you've just killed someone. That's like really all it is. Oh, he's dead now. It's like the amount of people that are just dying in here, it's like, oh, right, there's not really much to it. So then what happens, we're going to go through this because I do find it strange. So you can see the military behind them. They can clearly see, oh, that's one of the Russians that's been shooting at us. The military are just oblivious. They're still facing over there. No, there's a guy there. Shoot at him. Shoot at him. Nick Fury's shooting at him, and the military are just, like, oblivious to it all. And then it only gets worse from there, so you can see kind of how it works. It just opens back up. So then a load of choppers come... So, right, the military were all there. Now they're all dead for some reason. They were literally... We didn't see anyone shoot them. They're all just dead. No, they've disappeared. There's probably some dead ones there, but they've disappeared from the shot. And the military were there, and they let these guys... They let these guys jump on a police... But it's like, no, those are the Russians you were just shooting at. You're letting them hop on a bike and drive away because you've somehow disappeared. They've disappeared. They've disappeared from the script. They've disappeared. They're like, oh, well, how do we get around this problem? Oh... The military are there, and then they just disappear. They don't really care that someone has broken their ranks. They're not bothered by it at all. They're just oblivious to it. Absolutely oblivious to it. So they drive off. That's the end of that then, because the military disappeared. No, fuck off. Fuck me. So we've just went from a shot that had a load of dead bodies here. All the bodies are gone. All the bodies are gone now. Jesus Christ. Does anybody working on this show look at anything? Does anybody whatsoever, whenever it comes to Marvel projects in recent years, is anybody looking? Is anybody looking, right, does that shot line up with the previous shot? Clearly not. So honestly worse than what I thought it was. So yeah, the military were there. They let guys break their ranks. Then they were all dead on the floor. Some of them disappeared. Now all the dead bodies are gone and there's military back. Right, that's a big, big mistake. So Nick Fury leaves him there and gets the president out. And that's the end of the episode. So now I'm like, now what? What are we doing in episode 5? We've now got 2 episodes to go. The episodes are getting a lot shorter. So I don't really know where this show is going. You don't have a movie that it's leading into. Unless that's the Marvels. Can't be the Marvels, though, because they're doing some other bollocks. So, you know, again, it really is just a waste of a show. It's a waste that you're 4 episodes in. Yeah, you had a good scene in this episode. Hasn't really done anything, though, has it? In the grand scheme of things, it's just been a good scene in isolation. The rest of it, it's like, oh, right, 2 episodes to go. 2 episodes to go. You got no idea of what efficiency is. And at this point, what should be happening in the next episode, what should happen straight away, is you got to call up the Avengers, Nick. That's what you should do. They've got, the Skrulls have got powers now, so you can't use the excuse that, oh, they turn Avengers into terrorists, even though they can do that now. That was the justification in episode, what was it, episode 2? Can't remember. So that's, you know, again, they're not really doing a good job at accounting for that. That where are these Avengers? And I guess there's not many of them left. There's no Avengers that are left that I'm like, yeah, I want to see that character show up. You know, get Tom Holland. That's really the only character that left that I have any investment in, and that's fucking Sony. So that's episode 4, but yeah, again, I don't know what this show is supposed to be. We're now 4. Is there going to be a season 2? You know, I don't know. Again, it's just going to be a very rushed ending. They're just going to go, oh, it's over now. When it's like, well, no, there's a million Skrulls. There's a million Skrulls. The time you've got left, you are not going to be able to fix that problem. You're not going to fix that problem without it just being a rushed, incohesive mess. So it's like, it's just a dud of a show. And does nothing but damage. It does nothing but damage, whether it's Nick Fury or just to the world of Marvel. But again, it's going to be a 1-season done show. I don't imagine there'd be a 2nd season. So it's just like, oh, that was a waste of money, wasn't it? That was just a waste of money. When you could have just done fucking films. And you could have had it done within 4 hours. But it's just like every time we deal with these Marvel shows, they've got no idea of what efficiency is. You know, no matter what show you take, they have these episodes that don't go anywhere. You know, I think the biggest example is probably the Hawkeye TV series, where he spends an episode just looking for his suit and his bow and arrow. So it's just like we're seeing the same things repeat itself over and over again. That for some reason, Marvel, or just Disney in general, do not know how to make TV shows. They've got no comprehension of how a TV show works. They don't know how to do it. Like, whatsoever. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing that you've had the amount of TV shows that you have had, and you still can't figure it out. You know, it doesn't help that they're shit, but even in terms of how TV shows generally work, they haven't got the foggiest idea. So it's just like every series we come to, it's just got the same problems. You know, even forgetting about the writing aspect of it, it's just got the same problems with it. They don't know how to make a TV show. even though they're hiring people that have made TV shows, yet those people, for some reason, don't know how to make TV shows. Again, it seems as though there is no... Again, I imagine a lot of the problems on these series is due to the fact they don't have a fucking showrunner. They just go, oh no, there's a head writer. Yeah, but the head writer seems to fuck off after episode 1 and then comes back for the last episode. All the shit in between, for most of them, I believe, are just random writers. So, again, it seems as though there is no leadership whatsoever with these shows. That's why it's just, a gargled mess. They've got no idea how to make TV shows. And it's really obvious. It is obvious. But that is all I'll say anyway, because we've been here for over half an hour. But yeah, we'll be back for another episode next week. But, again, 2 episodes to go. I don't know what you're going to do to fix this situation. I just don't know how you're going to pull it off. There's a million Skrulls on Earth that have invaded all these governments. You can't undo that in 2 episodes. Which I'm kind of guessing we're going to be very similar to how long this episode was. This was a half an hour episode. So we started off, the first 2 episodes are almost an hour long. I think the previous episode was about 40 minutes. This episode is down to about 30. So, I don't know why they're so inconsistent with the times of the episodes. It's really all over the place, but we'll be back for episode 5. And I imagine I'll still have the same questions on what the fuck are we doing here.